never break it. Every night I spend with you, hoping you could feel it too. Don't you ever paint it black. We are never coming back. We were so wild and free. We were just kids in love. I gave you the best of me, and all I was asking of you was to never break it.
Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. I've got my tea and I'm ready to have a little bit of chat with you. Hi, I'm Yanina Wall and I'm the creator and lead designer of my little company, which is Bluebell Peak Designs. And I usually design and make amazing home decor with considerable help from my family, based off the British countryside. And then last night I thought, you know what, I want to do some traditional art and have a little play, just to become more confident, because I find if I do this sort of thing, then what happens is I get more confident in the designs I do. And I like doing these watercolours for my print designs. I love how a traditional medium like watercolour and paper really does, it just, well, it's hand done, isn't it? And you can really tell. I love doing the digital side of things as well. So most recently I did three beautiful digital drawings actually. One which was of some bumblebees saying busy little bee, another of a fairy and her little fox friend, which was based off the Draw This in Your Style by Ruth Hammond, and then the third one was of my star dragon, and that was really fun to do digitally. I'm not quite used to doing it in that medium yet, and I'm slowly building up my skills in that area. I'm happy enough with the designs that I've done that I want to turn them into print. But it's gonna be a little while before that happens. Now I'm just rubbing out my sketches from the previous night. And I'm sorry if you can't really see them, and the noise of me rubbing out is a bit annoying. I got a little set by Derwent called Derwent Academy, which has some pencils. I only really needed some sketching pencils, and I like using the Derwent, what was it? Derwent Graphic sketching pencils, but I wasn't, I was having a look, and then this little set popped up on Hobbycraft, little set from Derwent, and it contains loads of watercolours, normal pencils, and sketching pencils. And I thought I'll order that set because I need the sketching pencils anyway, and it was, I think, half price or something, so it was like £17 for the entire set, which I thought was pretty good going considering what's in there. And I thought I'd have a bit of a play because whilst I'm used to using my Winsor & Newton half pan palette watercolours, I thought you can see that they're really well used, aren't they? This is an old set. You can see that I'm really starting to use these up now. It is a really old set, to be fair. Excuse me, I'm just getting out my reference pictures because I need to lay down my base colours for my butterflies, and then I can go over all the details. Now you're hearing editing Yanni's voice because it turns out I am really slow at this. I thought I would paint and draw and have a chat with you whilst I was doing it, but oh my goodness, I took so long, and also my lovely husband wanted to have a chat with me and play some music, so we had a nice time doing that. And I thought the best way to do this is to do a voiceover, and I can speed it all up for your viewing pleasure. So as you can see, I'm laying down all my base colours. I've chosen blue British butterflies specifically for this little study piece. The reason being is that obviously the last video you saw, I was doing the Alice in Wonderland Drink Me bottles, and it sent me down the rabbit hole, and I have got Alice in Wonderland in my brain. So I'm painting blue butterflies because it reminds me of Absalom, and yeah, he's an awesome character, and I thought pansies would be a good one as well because of, what is it called? I want to say like Summer's Afternoon. You know the flower song in Alice in Wonderland, and they've got all the pansies singing and the roses and the lilies. So I always associate pansies with Alice in Wonderland from that scene in the Disney movie. So I thought it would just be really cute to do. Now, doing this kind of thing for me is not the most natural thing to do, and I am trying to train myself to be more loose and not worry about what I'm painting as much or drawing, because I really constrain myself usually, and the reason behind that is that I'm not trained really to do art. I did GCSE and I did A-level, which was quite enjoyable, but I did my own thing. I'll be honest with you, I did my own thing. I got pretty good grades. I got an A in GCSE and a B in A-level, and it's mostly because in A-level I couldn't be bothered to put in all the writing that you need to do for it. And then at university I didn't do any of that, and I actually did archaeology. Now, yes, there was lots of digging of holes and finding the remains of humankind, but what people may not realise is actually there's a lot of drawing that goes into doing archaeology, and my professors found out I could draw. So they thought, right, well, we'll use this to our advantage. So I did a lot of site surveys for them and a lot of scientific illustration. And scientific illustration compared to this kind of thing is so very different and constrained compared to it that since then I'm just a complete perfectionist when it comes to whatever I'm drawing. which is why I thought these exercises would be good to loosen that up. Because with scientific illustration, normally I'm just using line drawing, which is very handy for my lamps and how I create the items I do for home decor. But obviously when it comes to the finer art aspect is maybe a bit too constrained. But the line art that I used to do, I had to use like millimeter graph paper to draw on, and I had to do it to a certain scale, and I would use these things called calipers, which are a bit like protractors, to accurately measure each facet of whatever I was drawing at the time. The one that springs to mind mostly is like, it was a lithic study, which is basically like a stone thing, and in this case it was a stone arrowhead, which was from thousands of years ago, and I had to draw this thing and accurately show all of the marks on it where people have struck it, and it causes this ripple. So it is, whilst there is art in it, it's just to a different level to doing this kind of thing, which is, you know, it just means that I have to relearn a lot of things and not worry so much when things aren't perfect, because at the end of the day my work isn't going to be going into scientific journals for peer reviewed and things, so it's for people to look at and enjoy, and ultimately for me to enjoy as well. I think you can tell when I do enjoy a project and when I don't enjoy a project, and I don't want people feeling, I want people to really enjoy what I've made for them, and yeah, really appreciate what I've put into it. I always try and add a touch of whimsy to whatever I create, and I hope it shows through. When I first started doing all this, I found it really hard to adapt, and it's only by doing little projects like this that I can start to relax more and enjoy myself. And I found it really good for my own peace of mind. It's really helped me just take some time out from the busy, frenetic lifestyle I have with trying to run the business with 2 young children and still have some form of social life. And I do enjoy playing video games as well, so if it's not this, it would be like Animal Crossing or something. But this is really nice and free to do, and it really does hone my skills in how I represent things. But yeah, I hope you enjoy this little video. It's just a nice little time out from the studio vlogs, and I felt it was time to show something a little bit different and a bit more of how I create the art. I am hoping to show you a bit more of these things, but for today I'm just keeping it loose, not worrying about making a complete piece, and just letting my mind have a bath essentially. This is just like a nice warm bath for my brain.
sure it's right in front of us if we just hold on tight. This vision that I saw is getting closer every dawn.